you need to know. Second, I'm almost there. I just need to get out of 50,000 points.
I'm almost there, Nick.
One trip to Hobocon, and I'm out.
Points.
Hobocon could set me free.
We're RVing that.
No, goddammit.
Yes, that is an RV.
This episode is made possible by our therapy partners, Dirty B, Myra, and Pickett. From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy, real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. And now, broadcasting from the chair, that's Dr. Jim, that's Whitney, I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
The merch store is coming to an end. We will be closing it at some point. We're leaving it open for now because a lot of you are going to be joining us at Scoop Fest. Where can they find that link again, Jake?
Scoopfest.com.
That sounds right. It's in May, mid-May. You can come to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, arguably during the best weather of our year.
Oh, yes.
Easily
Absolutely.
the best weather. Because, I mean, right now, February, March, it's like 60-something degrees, really nice, but the wind is so fucking strong that you're just eating pounds of dirt. So May
Well, we have
beautiful.
exceptional wind this week.
It's insane.
That is
it's just
weird,
insane.
yeah.
But May, come down to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, hang out with all the hosts of Pod Therapy in person at the Orleans. We have a great time.
Come witness Nick's surprise.
Come see Nick's surprise act of love.
God damn it.
Which we're all going to work together for our buddy to make sure it works.
Oh, this sucks.
See, every now and then,
Yeah.
every so often,
Lay it down,
it's
Jacob.
good to remind Nick that Jim is not the only person on this show that I pick on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Every now and then he gets a little comfortable.
Yeah,
Yep.
He needs to be pushed off the... That's right. Yeah, every
so
once in a while.
often.
He's like, this is going great.
Yeah. And then you got to hit that shock button.
Yeah, just gotta keep him honest. Just gotta keep him honest, and then he realizes, oh shit!
Patreon.com/therapy. $2 a month get you in, get you seeing everything, including this week where Nick finds out exactly who he's fucking with.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big shock.
There is nothing in your life Jacob's not willing to ruin if it makes him laugh. And that's the thing you need to understand.
It might make other people laugh. It'll definitely make me laugh.
He is basically the Joker from Batman. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Check it out, and check us out at Scoop Fest if you want to come join us and hang out with all of our buddies, like Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social, who we thank at the end of every show.
That's right.
And Jacob is, of course, 1/3 of that awesome comedy podcast. Check it out. There's going to be them there. We're there. Tons of other Vegas folks having a great time, and great community there, too. So you want to check that out.
It's always fun.
Always fun. And maybe you can hang out with us and get some sushi as well. But it'd be a good time. We've got some great questions.
And Jim will go with you to get a tattoo.
I referenced the show. No, goddammit, Tess, don't do it. We still have time to tuck you out of this. I referenced the store without telling people what it is, which is also why the store's failing, Nick. I think that's probably part of why.
I don't think that's why it's
not good.
It's not helping.
PodTherapyBaitShop.com. I think is correct. Yeah, for years we just said the wrong address until somebody finally bought the right one because they were like, this is getting ridiculous. So PodTherapyBaitShop.com. Grab your gear before it's gone forever. If you go to our Instagram, there is a photo of my mother dressed as a bat, wearing an apron, with the Pod Therapy blanket.
I did see that.
We sold the blanket.
Yeah, we sold the first blanket in history to my mom, who then sent me the photos of her in a bat costume. It's great. Thanks, Mom. Couple of great questions today, and one terrible one. Crying at work from Anonymous.
You decide.
We report, you decide. Oh, it's a double. Hey, people. I'm writing to ask how much emotion is too much at work, and how can I keep myself calm? I'm a woman in my late 30s and received difficult feedback in a one-on-one conversation from my skip-level manager last week. She also said she's heard that I can be emotional and that I don't take feedback well. The last time I cried at work was in a one-on-one with my manager, and the time before that in a one-on-one with my skip level's predecessor. If it matters, everyone I'm referring to is a cis woman. Anytime I've...
Does anybody know what skip level is?
I think that means your boss's boss.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you aren't talking directly to your
skipping a
supervisor.
level.
Skipping a
I see.
level.
Okay, great.
In case you have
Holy
issues with...
shit.
Yeah.
That's such a great way to say that. I keep talking about my boss's boss as my boss's boss, and it just sounds really stupid.
My skip boss.
Skip
Well,
boss.
yeah, the skip level meetings are common in
I
like
gotta
bigger
tell ya,
companies.
I did not plan on coming here and learning anything
Aw,
today.
At least one of us.
But here we
learns.
are.
Nick.
Learn the thing.
There you go.
Nick.
Nick.
Okay, sorry.
I just say final boss. I think that's fine. You just, yeah.
But it's okay.
I was talking to the ultimate boss.
The
The
ultimate.
penultimate boss. Final boss. If it matters, everyone I'm referring to is a cis woman. Anytime I've cried at work, it's been privately, never in a group setting or with external vendors. And it's only happened a few times in 2 years at this job. What's the best way to counter this type of comment? And can you give some strategies I can use if I start to feel myself becoming emotional when I can't be or don't want to be? I try breathing and grounding exercises, but would love other suggestions. I don't want to be labeled this way, and I don't want to have it impact my career. But I worry I'm getting a reputation. Signed, I used to cry in the bathroom when we all worked in the office. It's a good one.
I've been dealing with this week.
Crybaby coworker?
Not crying, but very emotional and like blowing shit up at work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not literally.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like,
causing the drama, stirring the tea.
I watch the news every night.
Yeah.
I've not heard
never
yet.
see the absence report.
I had a coworker this week. They had been very unhappy with their work for some time. They decided to put their 2 weeks notice in, and during their 2 weeks notice period, they were fired.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
For cause.
Oh, okay.
Like legit cause.
Yep.
Everybody. It's one of those weird situations where I kind of agree with everyone.
Okay.
The person who was having issues, like they were stating some of the issues that they were having, and I was like, yep. I agree with you. Those are issues that need to be addressed. And then the people who decided to fire this person, I'm like, yep, they gave you every reason to fire them.
Yep.
Your hands were tied. Mm-hmm. So I've been having the conversation this week. Like, motherfuckers, it's just work.
Right.
It's a gig. It's just work. It is not it shouldn't be a major part of your life, especially emotionally.
That's hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, for some people, it's a third of your life. I mean, right? Because
it is. You're financially dependent on it in many or most cases.
Yeah, your identity is often wrapped up in it, for sure.
And that's a big one, especially in the arts, like the field that I'm in.
Yeah.
People really get wrapped up in their personhood. Their personhood gets wrapped up in their work and everything. I'm like, it can't.
That's hard.
It just can't. You have to keep these things separate.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I kind of pride myself on separating home and work life.
Do you, Jacob, the audio guy? Do you?
I don't think of this as work.
You call yourself Jacob the audio guy.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But I mean, this is
an identity.
But this is a company that I like. My podcasting stuff, like, that's a company that I own. That's my thing.
No. I'm saying, like, on Twitter, like, your handle is Jacob the audio guy.
But that's a podcast thing.
Oh, I thought that was a.
Oh, no, that's a podcast reference. That's
what?
purely a podcast
What
reference.
do you do at Absinthe? This whole time I thought you were the audio guy.
Sure. I haven't been the audio guy at Absinthe. I haven't just been the audio guy at Absinthe the whole time.
Oh.
Either. But that has nothing to do with Absinthe.
Well, then I'm off. My bad.
Yeah. No, that's just that's what we call me on Ice Cream Social.
Oh, I thought it was like a global reference.
No.
To like expertise.
Nope, it's not. My entire social media presence is only there because of podcasting. Like my social media presence, if it were not for podcasting, I would probably still have a Facebook, because that's what some of my older relatives are on, and they message me on that.
Okay.
And that would be it.
Corrected. My bad.
So no, I really do. By the time I get to my vehicle at work, whatever has happened at work is pretty much out of my mind.
Wow.
And by the time I get home, SJ will be like, "How was work? Fine.
Yeah.
Anything exciting happen? Not really."
And
then, like, she'll see, one of our other friends that I work with, and be like, and the other friend will be like, "Oh yeah, this happened the other day. I'm sure Jacob told you all about it."
No.
She's like, "No." Like, "Oh yeah, like somebody projectile vomited across the room and covered 8 audience members." And and like, "Oh yeah, that did happen." Well, why didn't you tell me about it? I wasn't thinking about it.
What about if you're being, so the writer talks about being corrected, like, being, and I guess we've all been the hot seat, at some point in your career. That's emotional. That's still like, it's
Can
scary a little bit. It's anxious. I mean, I could see for some people, if they don't have maybe thick shielding right there, they could become emotional in that moment.
I mean, because the writer talked about mindfulness.
Yeah, trying those things.
I would suggest kind of like focusing that mindfulness on, this work does not define me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where I would start if I were you. Just like this is not who I am.
Separating yourself.
This is something that I do.
Okay, I like that.
My job is something that I do. I do it because you're not going to work every day because you love it.
Right.
You're not doing this as an act of kindness. You're getting paid to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are going to work because you love it and you're being treated poorly, maybe stop going.
Yeah.
If they're not paying you
And
anyway,
they're shitting on
they're
you,
being kind of
bye.
shitty, like just don't show back up.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation. I don't think we need to have that conversation, but in case we do, there you go.
That's good life advice.
But yeah, no, like it's just something that you do. And if someone has a problem with something that you do, if you can correct it and you feel like that's something that's appropriate and prudent, go for it.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can't correct it, okay, sorry, I can't correct that. I cannot change that. That is inherently part of who I am, and that is how I do this.
I don't wear pants. It's my religion.
That's it.
I'm sorry.
That's it.
I won't do it. Not for you. Not for God. Not for nobody.
That's right.
That's right, God, no pants.
Take it, Pope.
Yeah. I will continue to work as a priest.
That's why I signed up for this.
Well,
Because of the dresses.
that's right.
I was told I could wear this robe.
I was told ventilation.
Yeah, that explains a lot about your
Not go
outfit
to seminary
today.
all these years to wear pants like an idiot,
Right. Like a peasant.
like a Protestant.
So here's what I would like to know, writer, is you explained kind of the whole, how you feel at work and being easy to cry, made easy to cry at work. What's life like outside of work?
Right.
Like, because you have to understand whether or not this is a problem or to what degree it's a problem, we have to have a baseline to compare it to. Because, if you are very sensitive and you cry easily just outside of work, then I don't think this is a problem. And I don't think this is anything that you need to do anything about. This is just kind of who you are. And I don't think you should be, I hope you're not
Some
judged.
people are just criers.
Yeah.
Like it
and
just
that's-
happens.
Yeah. I mean, and it changes as you get older. Like I cry during commercials.
Aw.
There's certain things that just like you,
Evokes emotion.
yeah,
Right.
like these Jesus commercials during the Super
Oh,
Bowl. Boy,
yeah.
the day
He gets us.
he gets
He
us.
gets us, Nick.
Yeah.
Gosh darn
gets
it,
us.
Jesus gets us.
Look, that businessman
Yeah.
washing that hooker's feet. I'll bet he didn't pay $1 for it.
That was
He's just being a good guy, just like Jesus.
What would Jesus do?
He'd wash that hooker's feet. And look at him taking pictures with his phone to show off what a good job he did.
No, but I guess that's the first question I would ask is if you're just kind of a sensitive person and you cry easy over stuff, then I don't pathologize this and don't
Right.
think there's something wrong with you that you need to fix this.
Yeah.
Because there isn't. That's just, some people are very sensitive to things and they just show emotion a lot easier than others. And there's nothing wrong with that.
So, Whitney, I want your opinion on this because I'm going to come in as the guy who cries because I am a fucking crier and I am the writer in this situation. But I'm interested in what your thoughts are.
I'm a little bit of a crier too.
Okay.
I have definitely cried at work to a boss, to a supervisor.
Yeah.
I have been there and I hate it too. I can
know.
relate.
It's so
I'm like,
embarrassing.
stop fucking crying.
I do the same thing. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. My mascara's running.
Yep,
You are a big
yep.
girl.
The eyeliner's
Stop
gone.
it. Get your shit together.
So having said that, I feel like I totally support what Nick said because I think on one hand, absolutely. If you're just like, I just need to cry this out and that's who I am and I'm good after I cry and go on, F that. They can be like...
And you can tell your workmates, your superior, whatever.
I like that.
Hey, look, I'm a bit of a crier.
Yeah. Yep.
Sometimes this is just going to hit me and I just need, 5 minutes, however long I need to just sit down, maybe privately, maybe here,
There's
whatever.
a way around it.
I'm going to get through it, and then I'm going to be fine. But this is me. This is who I am.
Yeah. I found that the times, and this is where I wonder if this is where the writer's kind of coming from, is when there is some form of negative feedback, I don't know that I've cried in those situations per se, but there were times where I did not take that well internally. You can feel that, and it feels personal, or like I disappointed someone, or I'm just not good at my job because they gave me one little critique or something, or they said I could do something better.
Right.
And what's helped me through those times not to either like spiral or take that more serious than it need to be, was kind of just really focusing on what the narrative in my head in that moment is. And am I thinking this one critique or whatever they're trying to help me get better at my job, are they trying to say I'm not good at my job, or are they just saying do this better? And I can tell myself I just need to improve in the area they said. Like, what are the facts? Kind of, my supervisor said I need to improve on finishing my notes on time.
Nobody's ever heard that before.
Nope, never. I get all mine done.
Weird. You don't get yours turned
Honestly,
in?
no.
Weird.
I think, honestly, as a therapist, hearing that just means you're a good therapist.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
I'll
take
take
your
it.
time.
I'll
Yeah,
take
because
it.
it's like you're either good at being
Yeah.
a therapist or you're good at doing paperwork.
You know
that's a
what?
good
That's
damn
fair.
point.
That's fair.
That's a really good
Yeah.
point.
Alright, you
I think
don't-
we
I
all
like
feel
that.
validated
Yeah,
by that.
I mean,
yeah.
there's-
And Nick
Yeah.
said it.
Those assholes that get everything turned in on time are bad.
There are
That's
a
how we
few-
should go with that.
There are a few unicorns like myself,
Of
Of course,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
but there are very few of me.
Very
yeah,
few.
Yeah. Single
You know,
females
what
at the swinger party.
I just realized Whitney's been on the show for a year now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We should do
Only
an
a year? It
annual
feels like at
performance
least 10.
evaluation.
Oh, that's right. We need to do the evaluation.
Feels like 1
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
we need to
gotta
do
get
your
that.
annual performance evaluation.
We got to
All
call
right.
HR though.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is where we change.
Is Jacob
costumes.
HR also?
Oh, you guys need an HR?
Oh no. For legal reasons, he is never going to be HR.
Good point.
That is the fastest way.
I am the bar.
I was gonna say because he's the shenanigans judge. He's
Yeah,
also
that's
the
right.
HR.
Yeah, it just becomes HR as well.
That's a solid point.
Welcome to your performance review. We'll be going over some things.
Yeah.
I'm more of a litigator.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's really honing in, and some of that's mindfulness, honing into what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling that. Is it accurate? And doesn't mean the feeling goes away. I want to
Yeah.
just say that this is not like a fix it. It's more of a managing through until maybe when I got home, I like cried about it. I don't know. Like maybe
Right.
there was a time later where I could process differently, but if I needed to be present in a moment, or especially at work where maybe there's not room for you to be tearful, or you have to meet with a vendor, like I don't, if you're in sales or something, that could affect your pay or different things.
Right.
I
So
think,
would you kind of like do some sort of like grounding technique or something that is kind of as like a distraction to kind of get your mind off of it?
And the writer did try that.
Yeah, they said that. And I mean, I guess
It's hard to do it in the moment.
I
man.
know. I really feel like for me, because I feel like it's my mind that is like taking me to the place of emotion. Like I know it's like classic CBT, but I really try and just talk myself off the ledge in that moment internally. I'm just like, nope, your supervisor is giving you feedback. That's how they started off. They said they received difficult feedback in a one-on-one, and I
Right.
don't know what that difficult feedback was. If that was difficult because they were actually saying you did something
Right.
wrong, are they like I don't know. I don't know what level that's at, but it's hard to hear that, especially on times where you feel like you are doing your best, or you're like, I didn't do
Sure.
something wrong. That I've been in that position working
Sure.
for corporations where
Right.
they're like, well, did you do this and this? I had a really crappy supervisor when I was learning still a few months in, and I was like, well, I scheduled this. She's like, well, that's not correct. And then I went back. I was like, well, I thought it was because this and this. And she re-reviewed it and was like, oh yeah, I see, like, and realized I did do the right thing. But in that moment, I'm feeling defensive. I'm like, no, I did do the right thing, but you can't
Right.
tell your supervisor that. And I'm the type, if I'm frustrated, I will cry. So I'm just like,
That's where it comes out. It's the
I'm like,
frustration.
you're not listening or hearing me or whatever.
Right.
So that, I don't know if the writer's
I
going
think
through
that
that.
the trigger is important too, because like as I prefaced, I'm the guy who cries.
Yeah, I want to
But
hear your version.
It's not what you probably think, because I don't.
you
so-
curled up in the corner rocking back
Yeah, I
and forth.
mean, yeah, exactly. That's the first thing I do is I come into the meeting and I find a corner and I'm like, I'm just gonna be right here. You go ahead. Why are you already crying, Jim? I just, I saw the agenda. No, but like for me, if I have a leader who is criticizing me or has notes, that doesn't provoke me at all. I'm flat.
Sure.
I'm
yeah.
emotionless. Like, and I don't know why that is. I think it's just because it's probably happened so much. Like, I've just had so many notes in my life that like I'm really good at it now.
Well,
like,
and if
it's
they
fine.
present it, well, I've had them be like, all right, you're doing great. Let's just improve that. I'm like, great.
That's always easy.
Yeah, how they're
I've
doing
had
it.
toxic bosses that were unpleasant and not very effective.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know. Like for me, for whatever reason, I'm comfortable with that. I can handle that. I slip into probably more therapist mode. Like if a client was giving you negative feedback and you realize a big percentage of what we're about to talk about has more to do with you than me. And so like, I'm just kind of receiving it and saying things like, thank you so much for that. Great notes. I really appreciate that feedback. And like, not even arguing it really, just
Sure.
letting them get it out.
Yeah.
So like, for whatever reason, I'm comfortable with that. What will get me weak or emotional is whenever there's a situation that I have a strong opinion about and my leader is removing my ability to affect that and doing something different. So like when you and I, Nick, we're not on Twitch. I'm gesturing to Nick, everybody. Whenever you and I ran the program that was a halfway house, when you were there, you were the king of that castle. They told you, hey, you don't run all the staff, but you do run this program and you get to make decisions. And like, then you would go meet with the state, and the leader at the state pretty much had told you like, hey man, I trust you. And for the most part, you can make a call, and as long as you can explain to me your call, I'm not going to question you. I'm going to let it ride. We're going to go with your view. They liked you. Everybody liked you. That's why they gave you a fucking
There's
bunt
that
cake when you
that
left.
charm again.
Yeah, Jim didn't get jack shit when I left, and I was there for 3 fucking years.
Yeah.
You were there for 6 goddamn months.
Sometimes people get what
I'm
they
a little
deserve.
bitter about it. I'm a little bitter. Everybody's like, oh,
And that's why you didn't get your
about
fucking bunt cake.
that? I was there for 3 goddamn years. Like, bye, Jim.
Jim was in
Anyway.
the corner crying.
I was in the corner crying. But like there were situations where leadership, and not necessarily state leadership, the company that we worked for as leadership, would tell me, here's what we're going to do in this situation. And I would feel really emotional about that because this particular program, I was all alone. I was on an island. Nobody ever came out to my little scary island in the middle of the city that was dangerous. They all enjoyed their Summerlin West Side, offices.
Posh.
And then they would just dictate from their mountain how I needed to handle things. I'm like, you're not on the ground. You need to defer to my judgment. I don't want this patient to go this way or that way.
There's a guy with a fucking machete
Yeah.
right outside my office.
Yeah, outside my office.
Don't tell
right
me.
now. Yeah, don't tell me. Open up the door and get him on the phone. And so, like, I would get really emotional because there'd be situations they say it's going to go this way or we're going to handle the program that way, and we're making an administrative choice. And I felt powerless to help the people I wanted to help, to control the world that I was supposed to have responsibility over. So where I've gotten really emotional is when I'm overly attached to my role and what I believe I'm supposed to do, and then somebody tells me, you're not able to affect this, I'm imposing this direction. And, the right move is for me to say, you're the boss, I need to right-size my space in this, and I need to defer. But that's where I become emotional, is where I'm stuck and I'm frustrated, and I'm like, God damn it,
I had a
it's the
colleague
wrong
like that.
choice.
She hated
like,
it, yeah.
and so there was a time I got a little teary in front of GG. One of our bosses, so just those initials, and he was caught off guard because we were in a
He was
meeting.
like, I don't know what to do.
He's
Jim's
like,
crying in my office.
do I buy you something?
He's texting
It
Nick.
was really funny
This
because
is
like we're in
awkward.
his office and he's like, so here's what we're gonna do, and I'm like, okay, but I've told you I really don't think that's the right move. Here's why. He's like, Jim, I really appreciate your thoughts, man. I've absolutely thought about everything. We talked to it with leadership. We're gonna do this, and I was like, oh, and he's like, okay, are you okay with that? And I'm like, no. And he's like, Jim? And I was like,
You're like,
and
allergies.
And I remember he tried to like,
if I give you some money out
God
of my
bless this
pocket,
man.
will
Yeah,
that
would
help?
that make this better, Brick? Yeah, so like he's God bless this man. He was trying so hard to like make it okay, and so he was like, and so he's like, he had some therapist training, even though he was an administrator, but he was like, listen, man, I know like you're really passionate about this program, and I know you're a really emotional guy, and I was like, fuck you, don't call me emotional.
Stop being hysterical, Jim.
That's the worst thing you could say.
I'm emotional.
You're emotional. I just care so much. You're not listening to me.
Oh my god.
It was bad. It was really bad. So he's like, listen, man, why don't you just take a break? Why don't we just circle, take a walk, come on
You
back.
need a break. I
Get some
don't need a
coffee.
break.
You need a break. I'm fine. So yeah, it was, I've been there. But and it's a really tough question, Ryder, because when you're that person and you're that passionate and like something's going on, you're very invested. Like sometimes it's because we're thin skinned, sometimes because like we care and we really want so bad to be good at this or we really want it to go well. And it is really hard. And like, I don't know that a grounding technique would have helped me. I was humiliated. Like, of course I didn't want to, get teary in front of this guy. And I had to come back and make excuses and be like, sorry, man, I'm just, I'm really just passionate about the program. I care about these people. And sometimes I overstep my role and believe that I'm the pilot of this thing. I have to remember my role. And like I handled it okay, and he gave me a pass.
And I
like,
had something in my eye.
I'm allergic, to emotions.
That was my mascara.
He gave me a pass. It was like, hey, brother, no problem. He just like reframed it. He's like, and he kept using the word emotional. I'm like, I really wish you'd use a synonym. Like, I just say passionate, man. Because we have other euphemisms for this.
Well, you can relate to the writer.
His passion runs a little close to the surface. Say shit like that. Like, don't make me sound like a bitch. But yeah, it didn't go well. So I was a little annoyed. Anyway, I don't have no advice. I'm just telling you, I'm with you. And if you figure it out, please email me. I also would like to solve this.
I would talk to someone about what that trigger is. I know we kind of talked about that, but definitely try and investigate that, because if you're feeling like it's, an attack against you or something personalized where they're just doing their job too, your supervisor and your skip level supervisor.
Yeah, exactly.
As Nick says.
Yeah.
They're doing their job as well. And usually feedback, it means that they want you to do better. If they didn't care, they wouldn't give you any feedback and let you burn yourself to the ground and then fire you, I guess. I don't know how corporations work in that.
A lot of that is just kind of reframing, right? Just kind of taking a different look as,
I think that one move, though, that I do think has value, and one of you said this, I don't know who, but taking ownership of it and poking fun at it. Like that you get away with that. If you can't trust yourself not to get teary, being able to laugh in the moment and be like, I'm sorry, I just sometimes I get emotional about this kind of stuff. Like I care so much. Sorry, I'm a crybaby. And like giving people permission to be like, okay, I can tease you about this a little bit. Like, no, we're laughing together at that. I get a little bit passionate or whatever.
I couldn't do that. If I was sensitive enough to cry, I'd be upset.
It's
People were laughing at me.
It's the only
Just
it's the only
personally.
move I know to roll out of the way.
I know.
It's
It
a
could
really
help,
tough, because I think some of this is kind of involuntary. I think Jacob's right in the sense that you can kind of cognitive distortion this thing and remind yourself, this is not who I am. This is where I work. This is what I do. Mm-hmm. And I do think that'll get you through if you can kind of like get that internally going on. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, maybe trying to diffuse it with humor or hang a lantern on it. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to run away from it. Just put it out there and be like, hey, I do this sometimes. It's just me, caring very much about how I'm perceived by others and doing a great job. And sometimes that will actually put people like, they're like, okay, I don't want to keep beating you up.
It's an expectation.
I really
it's not
appreciate
unexpected.
seeing how serious you are about this. Like, and that goes a long way too.
Well, also, I think embracing it takes some of the power away from it. So now it's like, it's like, I hate this part of me. I hate that I always cry when someone confronts me. And so now I've got the pressure to not cry, which puts even more stress. Whereas maybe just embracing it is just, and then it kind of relieves some of that, and you find you don't cry as much anymore because
that
you're
is
just
true.
kind of okay with it.
I think I finally, as I entered my late 30s, was like, probably mid to late, I was like, yep, I'm just a crier. Yep. Instead of like, oh yeah, this is
well,
the
and
worst.
I think it goes a long way because like we've been in leadership roles, all of us, and if you're talking to somebody and they, they're a little bit sensitive and you're giving them some negative feedback and you can see how quickly they're wilting underneath that and they are a little bit emotional. I don't think I think
we should use a synonym.
Thank you. Passionate, running a little close to the surface.
Yeah.
Badass, I think is the word we're looking for.
There it is.
Just really tough. When you interact with that person, you see how quickly they're responding to it. I think you take your foot off the gas immediately. And I know for me, I look at it and go, oh, okay, so like, I don't need to keep hitting you. Like, I gave you a little bit of feedback. You seem to be affected by it. I see you as a person who cares a lot about this and is taking me really seriously, right? Foot's off the gas. And now I kind of just take that different posture of like, okay, so like, I'll send you the rest of an email. Like, I'm certainly not going to keep beating the shit out of you, like, and try to pound it home.
Oh. See, I doubled down.
Yeah, I was
You
like,
go further.
Nick, he's been
They're
in
crying,
charge.
I've
Stern
got
Daddy.
'em.
Stern
Now
Daddy
I'm
over
gonna-
there's
yeah,
got
Stern
it.
Daddy Nick.
Like, don't cry. Your ugly mascara is going to run.
Right, yeah. Now you look
Why'd
even
you wear
worse.
blue mascara today?
It's getting all over your tacky blouse. Get out of my office. Then she runs away. She's like, God, I want to fuck that guy so bad. Something about him.
Twice she runs away.
I just need his goddamn approval. I'm just going to get him once, then I'm going to fucking leave. So anyway, that's our advice.
I feel like I was listening to Wanda from Absolute.
The best advice we had. Good luck with that, writer. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're talking about help with interfaith relationships. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Smitty Scoop, Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, Mason Miller, Tess Miller, Byler, T. Paris, Team Monaco, Oscar Swanrose, and Hannah Marie. And if you want to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy.
Jim's in charge.
Oh,
of
I
trivia.
actually have trivia.
No, fuck
this
your
time,
trivia.
so-
Jim's in charge. I took the time. I built it. I'm doing it. Here's the game.
Oh, no.
It
Here's
is
the
going
game.
to be famous movie quotes.
Oh.
It's going to be Family
Okay,
Feud
so
rules.
the categories are...
No,
Oh,
Family Feud rules. So
just
I
gonna
give,
do mine
like,
right
we're going to
over
start
yours.
with Nick.
okay.
If Nick can't get it, he passes. And so it goes to the next, or if you get it wrong, it goes to the next person until everybody's had a shot or
Gotcha.
the question's answered.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And then we rotate.
I like this.
You get 1 point if you can tell me the movie the quote comes from.
Okay.
You can get a bonus point if you tell me the name of the character who said it.
Okay.
You will receive no point if you tell me just the actor's name.
No buzzing in.
No buzzing. You get a full shot
Okay.
at it, and if you miss, goes to the next person. We'll
Gotcha.
start with Nick. Nick,
Okay.
here's your quote.
Battlefield Earth.
Nailed it.
Buzz.
All of them are from Battlefield
Yep.
Earth. 6 points to Jacob. End of trivia.
Boom.
Roasted.
Here we go. Nick, the quote is, Dear Lord Baby Jesus, I want to thank you for this
Buzz.
wonderful... There's no buzzing. Shut
I
the fuck
wanna
up.
buzz.
Dear Lord Baby Jesus... I did it so I could finish the quotes. Dear Lord Baby Jesus,
Buzz.
I want to thank you for this wonderful meal, my 2 beautiful sons, Walker and Texas Ranger,
Ranger.
and my red-hot smoking wife, Carly.
What is their
Okay,
name,
that
though?
was from Talladega Nights.
And the character's name,
I feel like we need
Ricky Bobby.
I feel like we
Ricky
need the full
Bobby!
name of the movie.
Ricky
I
Bobby
don't think we need it.
Talladega Nights.
I'm not
I think
gonna
you can
lie.
Shut the hell up.
All I thought.
You can't give a partial name of a movie.
Wow.
Seems like I just did.
No
Well,
points.
you know what? Jacob's the judge. I can't argue with that.
You can't be a participant and a judge.
You know what?
Watch me.
What does it fucking feel like,
Bet.
Nick? Because you make me compete with his ass every fucking week. And whatever he says is gold. Whatever he says is law. Until it's your ass in the hot seat, and then you're like, oh, this is fucking rigged. Yeah, no shit.
It's not
yeah.
April 1st yet.
Yeah, try to have a
There's gonna be
shenanigans
no
trial, too.
certain
All
tales.
fucking
Talladega
rigged.
Nights, The Legend of Ricky Bobby
No,
is the
that's
name
wrong.
of the movie.
No, you're wrong. You're thinking of the Legends of Wrong Burgundy. It's just called Ricky Bobby Talladega Nights.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But same actor, right?
Right.
So
Either way, Nick didn't get the full
all right.
movie name.
Having reviewed Jacob's wrongness, I'm now giving you 2 points.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
welcome.
you.
Nice.
This might end the show, though. I've never crossed Jacob before. I don't know what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens now.
Fuck. All right. We've got more. Oh, wait. No, second one. This goes to Jacob. 2 every round. So you've gotten your 2 points. Second question to Jacob. Here's your quote. Each and every man under my command owes me 100 Nazi scalps, and I want my scalps. And all y'all will get me 100 Nazi scalps taken from the heads of 100 dead Nazis, or you will die trying.
I think he says Nazis.
Nazis.
I think,
Yeah.
I think he says like I want 100
Nazis.
dead Nazi scalps.
Nazi scalps. Yeah. What's the movie?
God, that's.
Shit.
I know.
I'm trying to think of what the
I
name of this
want
movie
my
is.
scalps.
I know I can picture that scene.
Get me my scalps. You will die trying.
I know the director. I know the actor. I know the scene.
Oh, you got to get there, buddy.
Oh boy.
I'm counting down from 10 in my head.
Go ahead. It is.
This is gonna burn me up because I can't think of it either.
Yeah, I can't think
I've
of
seen
it.
it more than
All right, we're
once,
passing
too.
it to Whitney. Whitney, each and every man under my command owes me 100 Nazi scalps, and I want my scalps. And y'all will get me 100 Nazi scalps taken from the heads of 100 dead Nazis, or you will die
What is that
trying.
movie called?
I even quote the Italian all the time.
Yes!
I speak the
That
first
is the
best
same
Italian.
movie.
I know.
I speak the most Italian, so I guess I'll go.
Oh, this is going
He
to
speaks
piss me
the second
off.
most. Buongiorno.
Fuck. Pass. I'm
Would
not
you
going to
make that
think of
deal?
it.
I'd make that deal.
Pass.
All right, it goes to Nick.
The movie is Inglourious Basterds.
Oh, shit, for one, and for the bonus.
I
Brad
don't
Pitt.
remember his name.
I'm just kidding.
Brad Pitt playing.
And they call him like the Cherokee or something.
Yes, very
oh,
good.
nice.
It is
Inglourious
Lieutenant
Bastards.
Aldo Rain.
There you go.
Okay.
Played by Brad Pitt in Inglourious Bastards. Well done. Nick
Yeah.
with a runaway
Yeah.
lead.
Nice.
Woo, 3 points.
Ah,
0 from these
I feel
bows.
shame
This
for not
is
getting
the-
that one.
This is the best trivia that we
This
may have
is
ever
really
had.
good.
This is a good
Yeah.
one.
This is
It's
this
really
is
good.
fantastic.
You know, it's what I
is it even
realized making the
close?
trivia, it's not hard. That's the thing that really hit me.
All millennials have done is
Alright,
repeat
alright.
quotes.
It's not
Quotes
hard.
from movies.
Whitney, look at Nick right now.
Yeah.
And remember this look on his face.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
right now he doesn't realize that I'm already fucking with Jim.
What?
He doesn't realize it yet. And he's going to realize it later.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
And that hurt look on his face is going
yeah.
to morph into something else.
It's a long
I
game.
just told you guys I'm sensitive, and now
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
about to.
yeah. You were just the guy crying.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, I think Jim's trivia is phenomenal so
Thanks,
far.
buddy.
Well done,
Really
Jim.
appreciate that voice of support.
Yeah.
Next question. Help with interfaith relationships, and the author is Miss Godless. Hello, friends. Me and partner, 23-year-old female and 24-year-old male, have been dating for 6 months now, and we have different opinions on religion, which has been known since day one. I'm an atheist, and he is a Christian. We don't talk about it much because it doesn't impact our daily life. No praying, church going, etc. But I feel like when I do want to discuss it, he never goes in depth because he's afraid of starting a fight, though we have never fought. I want to see his side, but I simply don't, as I am firm in my belief. And I'm sure he is firm in his. We just discuss what we believe and agree to disagree before anyone gets a chance to get wound up. I know we're young and this is a new relationship, but he's a person I can see myself building a life with, as he is an amazing partner and amazing person all around. We don't want kids ever, so raising them in differing religions won't be an issue. This is really just an issue with me and learning to be okay with having a partner with fundamental beliefs that are the opposite of mine, because I don't think I will ever really understand a religious point of view. Thank you for your insight. Love, Miss Godless.
It's just me
So
realizing that I have to live with an idiot.
An idiot. So this episode comes out after you have released your response to
Yes.
Jim's
That's gonna be
religion
fun.
So I've got a
post.
lot. I've got a lot to say about
Oh
this one.
boy, here we go.
I'll start with
No.
my
You're in a
animal.
relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
Did you write this?
yeah, this is pretty much.
I've
Yeah.
been on a 6-year podcast.
The relationship
with a
is Jim. No, my first question, okay, a little confusing. You said we don't talk about it much, but I feel like when I do want to discuss it, he never goes in depth. Weird question, but why are you wanting to discuss it, and
Yeah.
what are you wanting to discuss? Like,
Sounds like writers saying, I want to wrap my head around your point of view because it's so foreign to me. Like at the end of the letter, the writer talks about like, I don't think I could ever think that way. And so I guess I want to understand you because how can you think this way?
Yeah, I mean, it's they say it's a new relationship,
Yeah, that's fair.
and
yeah.
and so I mean, like this
Yeah.
could just be part of I love this person and I want to know them better.
yeah,
It could be really simple.
yeah.
But I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, my personal perspective is I'm not going to engage in anyone else, whether it's my partner or friend. And I have friends who are very strong Christians, and
Like physically
we don't.
strong.
Yeah, very extra. They can lift a lot of Christian
Emotional.
weight.
Yeah.
A lot of
Emotionally
Christian
strong.
weight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
People that, cry a little bit because they're not afraid.
They go to the gym and lift
'Cause they-
crosses.
Yeah, they
They do-
carry the
they-
cross.
they
That's
do-
why they're
The
strong.
old rugged cross.
They do 50 reps of whatever it is.
Yeah.
50.
Getting nailed to a tree.
Oh, Jesus.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
The ladies loved him though. He was hung like this.
Oh. Goodbye, everybody.
I wish we were streaming. I wish we were.
Everybody knows what gesture I just made.
This, Whitney, is why we don't stream. If you've ever, like, why don't they're wired
the
for sound and
cameras?
video?
Where are
Nope,
the
this is why.
Because we can't edit a stream.
That's right. There's no way out. There's no way out.
No turning back.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess, and I appreciate that. You're probably right, Jacob. Like, you're wanting to just get to know your partner more, and that's a huge part of their life. You know, kind of little personal disclosure. Like, I was still a Christian when Peter and I started dating, and he was not, and that was something that we both just like accepted about each other. We had been friends before that for a while though, so it didn't feel like like I was getting to know him. But yeah, I just felt like he was just like, yeah, you believe what you believe and I believe what I believe and all's good. I don't know how that would have panned out long term,
Right.
but I just felt like we didn't talk about it, but it didn't feel uncomfortable not talking about it. It was just an acceptance. Like, that's what you believe. I believe something different. And we're not, he had been a Christian before. So
Okay.
it's like, maybe that's the difference. Like,
Right.
and so
He wasn't curious. He wasn't
there's
like,
nothing he's,
how do you get to? He's like, no, I totally know where you're coming from because I once shared that. I'm not there now.
yeah.
cool.
So maybe
Yeah.
that's the difference there. It's like, there's no curiosity around it. But I guess my perspective is like, you can still get to know him, but just keep in mind, you're not going to probably change their beliefs.
Which I don't know if the writer wants to.
I know, but then like,
Why? Then what are you really after?
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they said he's worried about starting a fight, even though there hasn't been a fight. Yeah, I don't know. I guess what's the goal? Is it just getting to know them, or
That's a big question.
Yeah.
Like, if you can, in my experience, it is very rare to meet somebody who disagrees with any of your conclusions, whether it's religion or politics or anything, and will talk to you about it from genuine curiosity and really say, I have an answer for every single thing you say. I have a rebuttal for everything you say. I choose not to share that because this conversation is me asking you to safely reveal yourself. And I'm just receiving it and nodding along and saying, thank you for sharing.
yeah,
That's very rare.
That is, yeah. And maybe, writer, if you are really just curious, be very clear that is the goal in what you
And
why
practice
you're
those
asking.
attentive listening skills that are just sort of like, okay. And if you do ask questions as follow-ups for things you want to better understand, I think trying your very best to be measured in that so it doesn't come off as pedantic or like you're really setting me up for a chess move in 5 steps.
Yeah, you're like, go ahead, tell me more.
So wait a minute, you think this or you think this? You think it's like, oh, is this, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because I appreciate like the idea of having two people in different like or political views or religious views. I think I would probably default to what you guys are doing in your relationship. Like, I kind of like that philosophy of like, look, I know we're not on the same page, but I really love you and I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
And this isn't affecting our daily life. It's just sort of a private thing. Are we okay? And like, I don't know, like, I think if somebody doesn't want to talk about it with you, I can appreciate your sincere curiosity, writer. I can also appreciate another person saying, it ain't broke. It ain't broke. Don't fix it. Don't rock the boat. You
This
know?
is really
Not worth
just
it.
an issue with me and learning to be okay with having a partner with fundamental beliefs. Yeah, they're trying to come to the conclusion, is this okay? Is
Right.
almost what it sounds like. And that depends. Like, are you okay maybe not talking about that very much or just periodically here and there? And I don't know.
It's going to come up.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I will.
But I mean, like, even if you have this idea, because I've got two thoughts, or 2
Only
points.
two.
2 points that I want to make. Number one,
They both have several sub-points under them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
That's
it's
right,
2
yeah.
main points.
yes, 2 main points.
Chapter 1.
Number one,
Subheading A.
even if you reach a point where it's like, okay, I understand what his point of view is, I disagree with it, we're going to agree to disagree, we don't talk about it, we don't really bring it up, it doesn't cause any problems. The moment one of you has somebody who's really important in your life who passes away, this becomes an issue.
Sure.
Because now it's not an issue until there's some sort of big thing that happens.
Right.
That like you fundamentally disagree on how to handle this because one of you believes like,
Oh, do you mean
I
like
want
somebody
to-
passes away and you have to deal with the
Yes.
funeral arrangements?
No. Like, I mean, you're sharing grief.
Okay.
Because now you've got one person who kind of wants to say like they're in a better place. Like if I'm coming at this from a Christian perspective,
Right.
my way of comforting somebody is kind of saying like it's hard to not say the suffering is over, they're in a better place there, and to not make it like this is not a positive experience or positive thing, but it's a different way. Like we experience grief in a different way.
Yeah.
And from, as an atheist, someone passes away, you're like, this person's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to see them again. I don't have this view that we will one day be reunited.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. And it's a whole different experience to experience, to experience grief that way versus through a religious perspective where you do think that you're going to see them again,
Right.
Now you're both, I'm not saying that one is easier than the other. It's grief. It doesn't matter, but it's really that I think when moments like that happen, even if that person doesn't say it,
Right.
if someone really important in my life dies and Jim wants to comfort me and I know Jim's perspective, it's hard for me to hear it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Even if Jim doesn't say it,
Right.
like I know his view,
We
he
think
knows
something
my
different
view,
about it.
and it is, yeah. And so it's going to come up. So you have to kind of think about like how you deal with those situations.
Right.
So that's one thing I just kind of want to throw out there. The second thing, and I think this is an interesting thing that a lot of people need to learn when it comes to talking to people of religious beliefs and religious faiths, is that like if someone wants to, you're not just from an atheist perspective. If I'm talking to another atheist and I say, like I disagree with,
First you do the handshake.
Yeah,
yes,
the secret
atheist
atheist handshake.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Oh, what? Wait, guys, can I learn the handshake?
No, you can't.
Shit.
In fact, we don't even believe in handshakes.
yeah.
Or hands.
If I, if I'm talking to another atheist and what the fuck what was my point? Belief system.
Yeah,
Belief.
there it is.
Okay, so if I'm questioning an idea that they have or a belief system that they have,
Mm-hmm.
I
can do that in a way that's different than by doing that with a Christian.
Right.
Because a Christian does not, if you are a Christian, you identify as a Christian.
Right.
It's not a belief system or simply a belief system. It's how this person identifies. Okay. So like this actually just happened recently within my golfing group.
A lot of weird shit happens in your golf
Dude,
group,
I'm
man.
telling
We gotta learn more about the golfing group.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever play golf?
Yeah.
It's
We
his
do. We
A lot
golfing
of
group.
existential
Yeah.
conversations.
We spend 4 hours playing golf
Yeah.
and 5 hours in the clubhouse afterwards.
Oh, that's
feels
true.
right.
Yeah.
So, but like, so one of the guys in our foursome is a younger guy,
Foursome.
and
it's hot.
and they got him and another guy kind of got into this belief system discussion.
Okay.
And one thing that I learned a long time ago that I think he will eventually learn as well is that when, like, if someone says something and you disagree with that belief, you got to tread real careful with
Yeah.
that.
Right. Yeah.
Because you can't just say like, nah, that's stupid.
Right.
Because like if someone says a belief or an idea that I have is stupid, it's fine because my ideas are not my identity.
Right.
Right. But if you're coming from a
Yeah,
religious
good point.
perspective,
Mhm.
it's not just I have Christian beliefs or I have
Right.
Muslim beliefs. It's
Mhm.
I am Christian.
I'm a member of that
I
team.
am
Yeah.
this.
Good point.
So like you're not just attacking their belief system, you're
Mhm.
attacking their identity.
Good point.
And that's a whole different ball game. So it's just another thing to kind of be aware of when you're having some of these conversations. In my deep dive, which you have not yet listened to because it has not
only
aired.
because it doesn't exist yet.
Yes.
It's not published.
But
when we're recording this, for the rest of you, you can go
Yeah.
to patreon.com/therapy and listen to
Yeah.
it.
But I make it very clear that the disagreement that I have with what you posted is not about your beliefs.
Okay.
Because I don't care.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're not pushing your beliefs on me.
Right.
You're not saying, Nick, you can't talk about these things because it offends my beliefs.
Right.
You have to have these, you can't have these. It doesn't affect me one way or another.
Right.
So your belief system doesn't really matter. It was more of like, I disagree with your definitions.
Oh, that's fine.
I
Yeah.
disagree with this,
That's probably
stuff
fine.
like that.
Yeah.
So it's just, but you have to be careful with stuff like that. You can't, it's almost, to some degree, I almost kind of say it's almost like an uneven playing field in a sense that like, it would be great if we could all just have an open conversation about beliefs and ideas.
It's certainly an uneven playing field.
Yeah, without having it connected to identity. But that's just not how it is.
It is
And
connected
it's not going to be that way.
If you and I are having a conversation and there are things that I can't say to you because that's going to send you into a rage,
Sure.
whether it's religion, whether it's personal, whether it's something about your mother, whatever that thing is, that is inherently an uneven playing field.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can say anything to me and I can't say anything back to you, yeah.
Yeah.
And to the author's credit, I mean, I don't hear the author saying that fiance or boyfriend is sensitive about this.
No,
I don't-
we're expounding.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it full circle. I don't hear them saying like, hey, he's sensitive, it's an issue. He won't talk to me about it because he's defensive about it. It almost comes off as like, we mutually agree this doesn't affect the operations of our relationship. But I agree with you, Nick. I think that where writers coming from is very justified. Where writers saying, I want to know more about this as I get to know you as a human. And I think it's probably fair I think one of the things you're saying is, and you didn't use this word, but I'm going to throw that in there, that in some ways it could be naive of writer's boyfriend to say, oh, this doesn't matter. Let's just agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No big
That's
deal.
true.
I agree.
But I would
disagree.
appreciate the tension that many people feel on this, that they're scared to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because, and I think you bring up a really good point. Unlike other things, there are some people that can talk about politics in a very non-connected way. They could talk about it like almost academically, where one person says, oh, well, this is correct for the nation because of X, Y, Z. And the person's like, okay, I think it's ABC, but I'm very open to X, Y, Z if you have more evidence on that. That is a very rare talent. Like most humans group, and then they get emotionally velcroed to that. And it's like you just said, it can be very tough to talk about it. And so there is a little bit of naivete, I guess, of like thinking like, oh, no big deal. This never is brought up. Like it might need to be at some point. But I can also appreciate they're in an early relationship. They are very young.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a pacing to this that we let it come up sort of organically when it emerges. Like you said, there's going to be life events that reveal this, and that might be a great time to bring it up.
Also, the fact that, like, not only is it uncomfortable to talk about in general, it might be very uncomfortable to talk about in the first 6 months because it's like, I don't want to say anything that's going to drive this person away. I really like this person.
We're going great. Yeah, exactly.
And also the religious partner in this, they could be having, there's all kinds of things from their point of view that could be going on in their life. They may be having a crisis of faith. They may be moving away from being a practicing Christian, whatever.
True.
It sounds like they already don't practice very much. They're not going to services and things like that. So, I mean, who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Like there might be something going on in their head where it's like, I don't really buy into this anymore.
Sure.
And what am I doing still saying that I'm a Christian? Because there is a bit of a leap that goes from like, I am a Christian, and then it goes to, I say that I'm a Christian, but I don't go to church, I don't go to services, I don't do all that stuff.
Right.
There's still a pretty big step in there where it's, no, I'm an atheist.
Deconstructing.
There is a significant portion of the pie graph of self-identified Christians who do not believe in this anymore, but that name has a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And they have almost a superstition about letting that go.
Right.
Well, in their identity.
It's an identity thing. I don't want to be seen as a bad person.
Yep.
And I'm not outwardly trying to talk anybody out of this.
If they have
Right.
kids, they're taking their kids to church or whatever.
Or if they're not even practicing at all. But they
Yeah.
just, if you ask them on a poll survey, what are you? They'll still say Christian.
Right.
And it's just a thing of like grouping and identifying.
That's
like,
right.
I don't know. I'm a good old boy.
So, I mean,
you know,
there
I'm in any
could,
trouble.
like, as close as you already are to this person, Ryder, it's
Right.
been 6 months. Like, there could just be other shit going on
Absolutely.
behind this other person's eyes where it's like, I'm having my own thing with this right now, and I'm not exactly ready to talk about it. And it's not you. It's just like they're not ready to have that conversation.
Good point.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe in time that'll come up.
I'm making things up out of thin air.
As Christians do.
Yep.
Well done.
Yeah, I think giving it some time.
You said it.
Just be in that relationship and understand that or accept that you may not fully understand. And in fact, I would be surprised if you did fully understand their religious
Right.
beliefs.
Sure.
Like, just accept that there's a lack of understanding and enjoy the relationship for what it is now and kind of let it play out a little bit. It is new.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what, Nick, you bring up a really good point because I think that there's two discussions that can happen that I think are very related to religious point of view. Because I do agree, humans that have a religious perspective, it can become a damn near bedrock philosophy that can really influence a lot of other things, a lot of conclusions, and it becomes a presupposition that they don't even realize is driving the wheel of a lot of the way they're seeing the world. And they might think, oh, this is no big deal. Don't think about it. But it's like, you can still look like that's fine. And like, I'd rather you be that guy than another guy, but like it's fundamentally influencing things. And I'd rather us acknowledge that than not. Right. And then the other side of the line, I think we can take kind of like too loose a view of being like, oh, well, this or the other way, we can be overly strict and be like, this defines everything about us. And like the writer could overthink it and be like, no, this is fundamental. Like we can't be compatible. It's like, okay, they're also just a human and you're meeting them and they date and they have relationships and families and people and jobs and they treat you a certain way and their behaviors exist.
And they believe in plural marriage.
And there's plural marriage, which can be cool, not like kind of just get to know them as a human, right? And like be careful not to oversubscribe it. So I think there's taking it too seriously and taking it not at all. And like both are probably errors. Like there's probably a healthy middle where I need to see this. I need to understand this. I need to understand what your nuanced views are in time when you're ready to reveal that. And I need to make sure that doesn't eclipse who I also have known you to be. Like I've seen that in like to use politics as a semi good comparison. It's not perfect, but it's adjacent. I've had couples where like, you know, a lot of women right now will not date a guy if he identifies as, you know where I'm going with this, as MAGA, if he identifies as a Trump person or even a Republican. And a lot of men have told me, man, it's really hard to date right now. I have to like conceal the fact that I'm a conservative guy or like I'm a Republican because a lot of women just, that's a nope and like filtered out of Tinder, like right away, like they're not getting a chance. And so like there are relationships that are developing and then down the road, the guy is revealing like, hey, I'm not the scariest version of this that you've seen online.
the old bait and switch.
The old bait and switch. But like,
What's masturbation have to do with it?
I consider myself a conservative
Baiting.
or a moderate. And they're like trying to like define themselves. And the woman's like, but I fell in love with you. Like the last 6 months are a lie. And like, as a therapist, you're trying to help that couple and you're trying to help them understand like, that's not true, right? It's not a lie. But there is a part of himself that he didn't feel
more
sharing
like the lie.
because he thought you'd have a caricature view of it, right? And so like we're working
why do
on
we think
finding the
that?
truth. Right. There's layers to it for sure. But like helping people kind of stay on the road, right? Where they don't go too far to the left or the right on this, you know, kind of overinterpret it or underinterpret it.
Yeah.
There's a good healthy medium here.
Yep.
Good question though. Good luck with this, writer. Hey,
That's
just keep
challenging.
leaning in. Keep leaning in and just be a relationship that's pro
One
communication.
day at a time.
And the good thing is, misunderstanding religion and anything like that, and having real deep conversations about it, and even conflicts about it, has never ended badly for anyone in history.
Nope, it's never been deleted from this podcast.
Yep.
We're going to take a quick break.
Oh,
and-
I was talking bigger than that.
Yeah, don't worry. It'll never work out. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're talking about teenage depression. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Smitty Scoop, Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, Mason Miller, Tess Miller, Byler, T, Paris, Team Monaco, Oscar, Swan Roast, and Hannah Marie. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a Theraproducer by going over to patreon.com/therapy.
When we last left our heroes, Nick Tangeman was in a commanding lead.
Yeah.
Wailing some ass.
Whooping ass.
I'm very disappointed in myself.
Just whooping ass. And now it is Whitney's turn to go first on this round.
Yeah.
And Whitney, here is your quote. Again, 1 point if you can name the movie, bonus point if you can name the character, not the actor. Though we all respect you if you name the actor, but you will not be awarded a point for
That's
it.
fair.
And here's your quote. What is this? A center for ants? How can we be expected to teach children to learn how to read if they can't even fit inside the building?
I mean, Zoolander? It's the movie.
That's 1 point.
And
The
Zoolander?
character is Derek Zoolander.
Like,
Very
and
good.
Zoolander?
I will award
Yes!
you 2 points.
Yes.
She is on her way.
I didn't get Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards.
I was like, this is the
You
same,
are
right?
welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going around the horn back to Nick.
Okay.
Nick,
All right, the
who
reigning
got
champ.
great points off the last round. Here he comes again. Here's your quote. I know who I am. I'm the dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Yes. Tropic Thunder.
Yes.
That's one.
Oh, what was his name? Played by Robert Downey Jr.
Doesn't get you a point. God, what a great movie.
so great. You know
Oh,
what?
suck your dick.
You know,
I
I have that movie burned on a DVD from when Netflix would do like send out the DVDs.
yeah.
And I was like, we're keeping
You
that because
copied that one?
it's gonna be banned someday.
Oh, my
and I'm gonna
gosh.
have that copy.
It would
Yeah.
never be made
No.
today. So good.
I don't remember his name.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean?
Does that go to me?
Yeah.
That goes to you.
Isn't his last name Lazarus?
I'm giving it,
It
to you.
Yes.
It's Kirk Lazarus.
Yes,
Yes.
give that
I'm giving
to
it
him.
to you.
Give that to him. Well
Yeah,
done.
because
It's
she got
fun.
away with Zoolander.
Yeah,
That's
I did.
1 point
Yep.
to Jacob. He is on the
Nice.
board.
I was
All
listening once to an interview that Robert Downey Jr. was doing, and he was talking about Ben Stiller proposing this role to him.
Oh my
wanting him
god!
to play
How do you
this role.
accept that?
Oh my
like,
gosh.
And Robert Downey Jr. was like,
I mean, that's fucking.
He's like-
you talk about faith. That's fucking faith.
Yes.
no, and yeah, that's
That is
exactly
trust.
Yes.
that's what they were talking about. And Robert Downey Jr. is like, I don't think I could do this, because I'm going to be in blackface, whatever, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. And Ben
That's
Stiller,
right. If you haven't seen, shit, what's the name of the movie?
Tropic
Tropic
Thunder.
Thunder. Yes, Robert Downey Jr. appears in blackface
Oh.
for almost the entirety of the movie.
so Robert
And
Downey,
it's a comment on blackface.
That's the whole thing.
It's incredible.
He gets away
Robert
with
Downey
it.
Jr. was saying, like, I don't think I can do this. But Ben Stiller was like, don't worry. They won't even notice you
Yeah.
because the character that I play is much worse.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Because he played the
Oh, that's right. Simple Jack?
yeah, Simple
Right.
Jack.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like they won't even
And he
notice.
did. He
My
got
brain
reamed for that. He got
doesn't
reamed.
work good.
Oh, no. It's something.
I love the self-awareness with that. Like, no, I'm going to be the one taking it. You'll be good.
There's so many references on
God.
its
And
own.
by the way, it's like
Oh, it's so
realistic blackface is done by the best Hollywood makeup artists out there. It's
Yes.
not caricature blackface,
No.
nothing
Yes.
like that.
He's
Like,
going for
yeah,
it.
it's like Robert Downey Jr. is appearing in a movie as an
Oh,
African American
so
person.
good.
Yeah.
Well, and Kirk Lazarus obviously is like this blonde-haired, blue-eyed actor in
Yeah,
this world.
yeah.
And he keeps winning Oscars.
He's like
the,
Australian, I
Yeah.
think.
yes,
I think
he's like the
Australian,
Leonardo DiCaprio
You're
of his time.
Australian.
And then he takes
Speak
this role to
Australian.
challenge himself.
Yeah.
To do something really bizarre that nobody's ever done.
What do you mean, you
Oh,
people?
That was
Yeah.
so good.
All right,
He
what's the
keeps-
next one?
He keeps quoting shit like by the Jeffersons and stuff. So I have one more because there was 2 each round. So there was 2 on
Yeah.
this round. I do
Oh.
have one more saved for the end of the show.
Okay.
But it does go to Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a big one.
Control
because,
of the board.
Yeah, control of the board.
Ooh.
Next question. Teenage depression
Ugh.
from Mama Ninja Scoop. My 13-year-old son has me worried, and I'm not sure what my next steps should be. For a little background, he's an only child that attends a small school for gifted kids. He's a black belt and part of the junior leadership team at the martial arts school that our family owns. He plays the drums, gets straight A's, and is genuinely an awesome kid. He's also extremely hard on himself and is frequently talking negatively about himself despite our attempts to lift him up. Over the last few months, he's expressed that he feels like he doesn't have any friends, and everyone that he is friends with treats him like crap. I've tried to talk to him about dealing with kids at his age. Middle schoolers are terrible and make terrible choices. About how his worldview is so small compared to what the rest of his life will look like, and that he will get past this. He's spoken with his school counselor, and I've spoken with his teachers so that they are aware of what has been going on. Just this week, he and his best friend had an argument. Hurtful things were done and said by both boys. Apologies were given and punishments were handed out. But it left my son in the worst place I've seen him. This all came to a head last night, and I heard him sobbing in the shower, followed by screaming and yelling at himself. I was terrified. I sent my husband running into the bathroom to make sure he wasn't hurting himself. He's never shown any signs of self-harm or talk of suicide, but the sounds I heard ripped me apart. After a very long talk, he assured us that he had no intentions of doing anything and that he was just trying to release the anger he was feeling. My question is, what do I do now? Is this normal teenage hormones and growing up, or should I be looking into antidepressants and therapy? There's a family history on my side with depression and anxiety, so I know we might be going down that road. But I just didn't think we would get there this soon. I'm scared of making the wrong decision. Thank you for all you do, Mama Ninja Scoop.
Oh, man. I don't think you could pay me enough to go back and relive my school age years.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
So
and honestly, I think I had it good.
Right.
I mean, compared to kids today.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think it's so hard to be a child. And it's hard, because like, we were just talking about, in the previous show that we recorded about upcoming high school reunions.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just how much it's different. And like you go back and you're like, wow, that dude over there, that's the one I was stressing about.
Right.
Like I really cared about that person's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And now as an adult, you're like, you see the ridiculousness of
Right.
it, but there's no way to explain that to someone
Right.
who's in it.
Right.
It's in
They don't have the perspective.
exactly. And in his world and in your son's world, that's reality, and
Right.
that's how it is. So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that just to first off empathize with how difficult that is, and with the negative self-talk, it is a little distressing.
It's scary.
It really is. I do think some of it is normal, and I think it's something to watch. Hearing you say that there's a family history there, I would definitely have my radar up.
Mm-hmm.
I personally would not just jump to antidepressants right away,
right.
especially for
Yeah.
kiddos. Definitely start, I know it's cliche, start with a therapist, for at least some amount of time to get their opinion and see what they're kind of thinking on it before jumping down the medication route, especially if they say they're not thinking of self-harm and suicide. Like, you're still in a good zone.
Yes.
Trusting what they say at least, which you should. I mean, it's your kid.
What do you two think about approaching him with the option of therapy? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
first,
Making-
before you kind of say like, hey, I want you to go into therapy.
Right.
Coming on it like,
Yeah.
hey, what do you think? Do you think it'd be helpful to talk
What
to
are your
somebody?
thoughts on that?
Would you be interested in doing therapy?
And he went to
just
school
kinda-
counselor, so he seems
Yeah.
like he's got, comfort
Yeah,
talking.
like would it be helpful to talk to someone? I have a friend, her son is close in this age, and also technically not an only child, but basically the way they were raised, and they didn't want to go see a therapist. They did go see him for a while, but the therapist also taught guitar lessons. Like,
Oh,
it's a
that's
small town.
cool.
So then the mom was like, I'm going to pay you for therapy, but can we like can it be guitar lessons to my kiddo?
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
I'm not even mad at that. Absolutely.
Yep.
Like, so anyway, she pays out of pocket for that. So
Sure.
it's not an insurance thing, but yeah, I thought
Did he also learn guitar?
Yeah, I hope so.
a little bit.
Undercover
yeah.
therapist. I
Yep.
like that.
That's a
So
great idea.
throwing that out there, I thought it was
should do that,
interesting.
yeah.
Honestly, that's a move. I feel like there's a whole lane for this.
Yeah.
Undercover therapist.
Especially kids-
I'm just remembering Steve Buscemi with the skateboard over his shoulder gif. Where he's like, hello, fellow teenagers.
fellow teenagers.
Yeah. I think there's a kid here who's like an adult. Hello, fellow young people.
Yeah.
You could totally do that.
I feel like
mean,
I
you would
could.
have to learn how to play guitar in more than just one
Yeah.
key.
Oh, there it is.
Do you, though?
There it is.
I don't know. How many keys the Jars of Clay play in, Nick?
Banjo duel we're going to have.
Jars of clay.
Touche.
Yeah. I don't need the one key.
The
Music.
key of Jesus.
God only wants
There it
Jesus
is.
key. There it is.
No, do you know what God's favorite chord is?
What's that?
Jesus.
There. Yeah. No, we got the bit. That was
Yeah.
the first joke you made.
Jesus.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't have to re-explain it. It's fine.
So Jesus is
Yeah.
a chord.
Yeah.
Shut up,
You
Nick.
put the pinky
It's a
in the
sustained.
Yeah, the sustain.
Sustained, I think,
Yeah.
fourth, I believe.
Is-
Oh, is
Fourth
that
one,
what sus
yeah.
stands for?
G.
Not
Yeah, G.
suspicious.
No.
That just shows your age. No, just kidding. So yeah, I
Because
think,
in music,
okay,
there's
I'm gonna
chords
punch
that
your
have-
face
all right.
like
Get
right
him.
now.
Kick his ass.
Nick's
I think
totally
right now
going-
you can take him. I think this is your moment. Pounce.
The timing
If
was
you just go
the timing
all
was
offense.
impeccable. The timing was
We're on
impeccable.
his back.
I'm done.
I'm just impressed by that. So yeah, I think that maybe not jumping to antidepressants right away. I'm not trying to advise you on that per se, but that would be my perspective or suggestion if you're asking. Man, teens, I don't think boys get enough highlighted on the hormonal adjustments they are going
Yes.
through at these ages.
Yes.
Like, I think because
Yeah.
girls when they're young, it's a little more like predominant and like very clear. We have very physical, clear
Right.
things that are happening when we're emotionally having our ups and downs.
Yeah.
But I think boys aren't given enough
They just assume
acknowledgement.
that they're just static. They just don't
Acknowledgement.
change.
Yeah,
They're just
they'll
getting
be fine,
taller,
or
nothing
or they
else.
just won't talk to me anymore.
Right.
And there are definitely boys out there that do that, but I still feel like they're the ones internally dealing with that stuff.
Yeah.
And your son is actually expressing it. I love that.
Yes.
I love that they're expressing it because one, that means they are comfortable screaming in their shower knowing you will hear them.
That is a big deal.
And that says they
That's a
really
great
trust you with their emotions because they know you're going to come in or ask about it.
And he's young. I mean, he's just trying to figure out ways to sort through these emotions.
Yes.
And like, he's trying screaming in the shower.
Yeah, sob in the shower. Go for it.
Like,
Something.
he's
Do it.
giving that a shot.
Do
Let's
it.
see how that works.
Absolutely.
Maybe that'll help.
Absolutely. Man, this is really hard. I share this with almost all the parents of teens that I work with. And I say it from a perspective, I know this is so fucking challenging. But when your kids are going through emotional roller coasters like this, or fights with best friends, or they're hard on themselves, please, please, please try not to talk them out of that, or things will get better. I
Reassure too quickly.
because when parents do that, they are trying to make themselves feel better.
Yes.
They are uncomfortable with their child being
Yes.
depressed, hurt, whatever it is, hurt. I'm going to say the word
Yes.
hurt. It could be emotional, physical, whatever.
Suffering. Yeah.
Suffering.
Yep.
They are uncomfortable, so they want to fix whatever's
Yes.
going on. So if I can tell them things like, it will be fine, this won't last forever, then they won't hurt anymore, and then I won't hurt anymore, and I won't be
Right.
stressed anymore.
We don't think it's selfish. We think we're being kind.
Correct.
But we are too close to it.
Correct. When your kid, I use this example in session, when your kid is 4 years old and they fall and they scrape their knee and they cry, and we're like, oh, don't cry, if your knee is scraped, you should cry.
Yeah,
Crying is
If
the
it
right
hurts,
response.
you should be crying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if your kid is hurt, they should be sobbing and crying. I mean,
Yes.
not should, but they
It's
can.
fine.
And
Yeah.
that is a normal response.
Yes.
And so I think trying to shift your own mindset, again, I'm not a parent, but this is just an outsider perspective. try your best to sit with your kid through that emotion. They are upset. They feel like they're hard on themselves. Just sit there, rub their back if they're okay with you sitting next to them and say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Can I sit with you? Is this okay? Can I just be here with you while you cry it out? Because that is going to build your trust and your intimacy with your child, like that connection that you are going to want as they go through these teen years. Because it's fragile.
Yes.
It's fragile. It takes one thing and they are shutting you out. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a very typical parent response.
Totally.
And this is one of the fundamental differences that a therapist is going to do with your child that you wouldn't guess. A lot of parents think that they'll bring their child to the therapist, and again, they're motivated by that instinct to repair.
Fix it. Oh,
yeah, I want to fix you. I'm going to take you to the specialist.
Please make my kid
Whitney
talk to you
will
about
fix
their
you.
emotions. I get this one a lot, and I'm like,
Yes.
I will.
And they come to you and they're like, I'm bringing you my baby.
Yeah,
Please,
that's fair.
Take care of my baby. And you're like,
And they're
okay,
scared, yeah.
But you need to understand, I'm going to do that the way an expert mental health clinician would do that, and that means I'm going to give them permission.
Yeah,
and they're going to sit here and tell me how miserable they are, and they're going to wrong size that, and they're going to be in their emotion, and I'm going to let them get it out, and I'm going to try to agree with them sometimes so that they feel safe and not corrected, because
Yes.
all other adults correct them.
and they see it as
Even
permissive.
passively.
Yeah,
I'm hurting so much. Okay, sweetheart, I hear you, but you're also wrong.
oh God.
Okay?
Yes.
But I'm reassuring you. I love you.
I hear you,
but you're wrong.
Yeah.
Don't forget. Now, Ryder, I want to hold both those things in both hands, because on one hand, Whitney's nailing it. She's absolutely right. As a therapist, that is something we are going to do because we want to give space, and because what our goal would be with your son, if he were in therapy, and Whitney and I were talking behind the scenes, we're like, okay, what are you going to do with this patient? Our talk is going to be, I want to help them develop emotional vocabulary and language what they're going through. Instead of guttural sounds in the shower to process what's happening, I want to create a regular space where they're accessing and processing what's happening, even if that's shitty, even if it's sad. And I want them to access raw tears, raw emotion, truth, and just process that. That would be huge. And if we can just make sure that they're doing that and not regressing or doing any kind of dysfunction, that's a win. Therapy was awesome. High five in the hallway. We're crushing it. But as a parent, you're also doing some things that I think are parental and important. And we're not correcting you. This is why I said we're holding both in both hands. One thing you're doing is also giving perspective. And you're saying, I need you to also know it gets better. That was the slogan. I don't remember if you guys remember this, but there was a campaign for homosexual boys and girls and anybody years ago to try to, because the suicide rate was so high.
Yeah.
And so celebrities, I remember Lance Bass came out, and a lot of other really important homosexual celebrities were coming out and just telling kids it
Lance
gets
is gay?
better. Lance Bass?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't want to ruin it for you. Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't want you to find out this way. That tattoo is going to be really different now.
Damn it.
But yeah, they were coming out and saying it gets better. And that was the message. Kids, it gets better. And that is important. And Ryder, I hear you saying that. I hear you coming to your child and saying it gets better. I know right now this is your whole world, but I need you to also understand, and I'd be doing you an injustice if I didn't provide that future perspective. As your parent, I have to say those words. Totally fine. And I get that that's going to conflict with the other hand, which is also trying to leave space. And just not reacting to this. And sometimes, right, to tell you the truth, look, if it was my kid going through this, I, even as a therapist, would be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Whitney, take my kid.
You're too close.
I'm too fucking close to it. I'd
You'd be
hand my
like,
kid.
"It's
I'd be like,
okay,
that's
it's
it.
whatever." Yeah.
And I love Nick's point that I wouldn't mandate treatment because, again, I don't want to feel you need to be corrected. Because right now, also to come full circle on this, because you're a scared mommy right now, and I'd be a scared parent in your situation too.
Yeah.
Everything I'm hearing in this letter is good news, to be honest. I don't like that your kid's suffering. I sure do like that your kid's telling you about it. I sure do like that you are aware. I sure do like, as Whitney said, that he's venting in the open, that he's talking about it, that he's grieving and he's going through his frustrations. I sure do like that he talked to the school counselor. And emotion is not the enemy. Sorrow is not the enemy. Grieving is not the enemy. The enemy is silence. That's when we start to see dysfunction and abreaction.
Yep.
So it is within the human pantheon of emotion to be sad. It is within the human continuum to be depressed to an extent. And I don't want to pathologize what this child is going through. As Whitney said, when the kid gets hurt and he cries because he's wounded, that is an appropriate reaction. And one of the things that has happened too much in our society, and especially mental health, is the pathologizing of what we might call typical human behavior. Mm-hmm. And this is a sad teenager experiencing sad difficulties, being sad.
Yeah.
And we want to love them, parent them, hear them, help them learn the emotional vocabulary words, language this, learn some mental hygiene habits as they're going through it. But that doesn't mean it's a disease. It's not necessarily a disorder. Now, if you're nervous, I think it's okay to propose this to the child, as Nick suggested, and saying, hey, you're going through a lot lately. I love you. We are a pro-mental health family, and I just want to check in. Would you like to maybe experiment with therapy? Is that something you're open to?
Or someone to talk to.
I
like to say like someone to talk to.
Do you think you want to try talking to somebody about this?
Yeah.
Not me or Dad.
Yeah.
You know, would that be helpful? Well, I don't know, Mom. I think I'm fine. I don't think anything's wrong. Okay, but I'm going to make that an option. And if you're interested in it, would you be comfortable with me doing some homework and sending you some suggestions? Is that okay? Or would you like to do it? What's comfortable for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I would just like you to take a look and then decide.
Mm-hmm.
That's plenty. That's a very light touch, and then see what your son does from there. But I think we don't want to pathologize this. We do want to extend options. A lot of things here are not bad that I'm seeing. I think a lot of this is good. But I get how scared you must feel.
And, you know, straight A's, drummer, black belt, you say he's an awesome kid. I, too, think he's an awesome kid, and I think he's got an awesome mom.
Yes.
I know you said you're scared of making the wrong decision. I'm not scared that you're making the wrong decision.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a great job, and I think you're asking all the right questions.
You're right there. The only thing I question is your taste in podcasts. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That is a sign.
Speaking of that,
Too many people suffer from listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
there is
Somebody needs to do something about it.
Yeah. And she's a scoop, so just keeping awful company.
In the year 2024, too many people listen to Pod Therapy.
It's the Pepperidge Farm voice.
It was a dark time for me, for my family, and for everyone.
Oh my God.
But we will overcome. We will survive. We will thrive. And we will cry in the shower.
For the price of a cup of coffee.
Yeah, you too. You too could sponsor.
I just had one last little resource that I jumped onto recently with one of my clients, and it's a YouTube channel called Healthy Gamer GG.
Oh yeah, Nick's
you know
talked
him?
about that.
Yeah, I love him. Oh my gosh! But talking about kids that are gifted, and I know you didn't really go into detail, but Nick, just redescribing all the things you shared about your son. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure on those kids.
And he sounds like he's a perfectionist.
And that's what I'm hearing a little bit of. So I know you're talking about, like, what can I do to help? Like, maybe learning a little bit more about what it might be like to be that gifted kid can help you relate a little bit more to your son and, like, the pressures he might be experiencing, because we as adults look at that and we're like, wow, you're doing great. Like, I would have loved straight A's and this and that. And it's like that equals good, but you don't really know what your kid's going through underneath the surface to get to that point. And I do see that sometimes with parents. It is not their fault. They are doing the best they can, saying the best they can, the best things they know how to say. But I literally had a client the other day say, like, my parent one time was like, you're the one kid we don't worry about.
Oh yeah.
And that is such an off the cuff comment. As a parent, I would never be like, don't say that. Like, you know what I mean? But the kid internalized that. So I just feel like opening up the communication and trying to connect with your kid however you can. Like, there may be something going on that can shift a little bit within those family dynamics to take some of that pressure off that you don't even realize is like affecting him in a certain way. So
Really great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times the gifted kids, exactly like you said, it's like, oh, well, they're so self-regulated. I don't check their grades. They're on top of it. I don't ask them about their homework. They're on top of it. I never have to, challenge them like, you're not trying hard enough. I'm like, no. If anything, it's never up to your standard, But then that kid can also be super self-critical and like really always, internalize things and feel like they're failing and sometimes struggle to language that or deal with that emotion because they don't look at other people. They think, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I fix this?
Yeah.
Because they have almost a high internal locus of control. So
yeah.
creating the windows,
Yep.
I think, is
And-
huge.
And then Satan shows up and hands them a set of golf
Not
clubs.
today,
Oh,
Satan.
there it is.
Not
There it is.
today.
And they never recover.
They're just Satan.
Satan.
Yep.
Satan shows up. Devil went down to Augusta.
It's a simple It's a simple game.
You'll love it.
It's a simple game. You just
Hit
hit
the
the
ball
ball
with
in
a
the hole.
stick.
The stick.
It's
Yeah.
easy.
Take a stick, hit a ball,
Nobody
put
is
it in a hole.
stopping you.
Yes.
It's just you. It's just you.
Nobody's going
and
to
the
tackle me
ball
or anything?
And the
Nope.
60
Nope.
mile per hour wind
Matter of
storm.
fact, we're going to make sure everyone's quiet.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
they don't bother you.
There'll be no excuses.
We're gonna mow the grass really well.
You'll only have
ball
yourself
will
to blame. You'll be fine. As we wrap up the show, we want to remind you, you can go sign up at patreon.com/therapy, get the extended show ad-free a day earlier, and enjoy our live chat Discord community and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants. Now, we recorded this one in the past on March 3rd.
We record all of them in the past.
Yeah, that's a good point. Damn good point. Never in the future.
We
Not
do?
Yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
What is this? Neil deGrasse Tyson? We can't do that shit. But yeah, so if you have signed up since March 3rd, we are unaware of it. But at the beginning of every month, we emphasis on try.
Some months.
Yep.
We didn't do it this month.
Yeah. We intend to thank everybody at the Therapod level and higher. And we didn't get a chance to do that in the last episode because we're dumb. So I'm
had a
going to
chance.
jump. Yeah, there were chances.
Yeah.
Chances were thrown.
Yeah.
We're about to thank everybody. If you're like, oh, I don't care about listening to all that, I'm not going to tune in. Yes, you are, because I'm going to ask the last trivia question, and it's on Jacob. So you're going to want to know how this epic thing finales.
Wait, what's the score right now?
You are within.
I have one.
striking
I think I have
distance.
three.
I have 4, I think.
Yeah,
have
but
4?
the last one is worth 2 points apiece.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Theropods. Thank you, Robert Paulson, Polygon, Colin, Scoopstronaut, Richard Bruins, Linda Brandmeier, Corey Owens, Joseph Pengrazio, Christine Phillips, Gavin Bristow, Carrie Terhark, Stacy Westerland, Tracy Replogle, Scoopy Jess, Kiwi Fruit Scoop, James K, Chelsea Saracen, Craig Little, Don Dorr, Jim Hunter, Take It Easy Podcast, Adam Rabiznik, Brooks Lyle, Todd Canfield, Felicia Butler, David Sorensen, Shayla Bullock, Scoopatron, Lauren Izzo, Stacy Coleman, Adam Petanuzzo, Matt Lenegren, Scoopiter Ascending, Ian Soto, Jessica Cyphers, That Josh Guy, Lee Popsicle, Dr. Scoop Little, Mama Ninja Scoop, who wrote us today, thank you so much, James Dawson, Colson Morrow, Sarah Olo, Grumpy Lake Mead Park Rangers, Sam Buck, Karen McCulloch, Megan Smith, What Weekend, Some Nobody, Lila, Be Gay, Do Crimes, Kevin Gagner, and Jim's thumb moved the page too fast, BP Nippy, Brian Emra, Drew Helligy, Alec Lancaster, Matthew Johnson, A Literal Pickle, Matthias Vandebrandt, James Hubble, Max the Ginger Scoop, Ken Tinsley, Andres Saavedra Molina, Watergirl, Stacy, Protect and Scoop, Anonymous, dun, 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 Jim Mills, Smells Funny, that works, Brady Malechek, Matt Kubik, Julius Capel, Chad the Safety Lad, Walker Fluke, Philip Guyton, Tim Mystery, Almost a Doctor, Nurse Joy, Duffy, The Slowly Getting There, Therapist Bear, Christopher DeGursey, Kirka Grimm, Irvin Santon, Trisha Ortiz, Lenny, Joel McMillan, Melissa Geisler, Chris Conway, Kirsten Johnson, DJ Seward, Mississippi Hippie, Tiny Home Travelin', Scott A, Fifi, Laura B, Eli, Heather W, Patty Glad, Kyle, Todd V, Burnt Toast, Anthony Camerata, Freya Lawson, David Williams, Kate Palise, JoBeth R. Bowers, Mark Orellana, Buddy Dobbins, Eric Dyer, Emma Kane, Susie Kathleen, Glitch Scoop, Adam Warren, Trontastic, Aletta Balasius, those aren't letters, Stephen Landon, Shai Ruparel, Adam Balaz, Elena, Kenneth Wong, John Finlayson, K, Pizzle Dizzle, Robert Cole, Temporary Reality, Jeff Darnell, Tasha, Rachel Rakowski, Synctium, Silka Daniels, Nathan Mookie, nailed it. Jenny Rose, Jacob Billingsley, what does Scoop mean? Baza, and James S.
Pterodactyls. Ice Blue Scoop. Brian Lehman. Scoop Brady. Fred Bashar Jr. Andrea Anderson. Sorry. Scoop Lindsay. Frozen Cusser. Lori Eltsroth. Robert Ward. Sai Shonagon.
I like it.
Okay. Okie Scoop. Dank Butta. Andrew Langmead. Lovely Spark. And TKO.
Love it.
All right.
And of course, we want to thank our therapy partners, the benevolent, revered, generous, and flagrantly pro-therapy diehards who love you all so much that they give till it hurts. Thank you, Dirty B, Myra, and Pickett. And we want to thank our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club. The Therapy producers, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr., Mint, Smitty Scoop, Ben Don, Judy Schneider, Kayla Lansbury, Mrs. and Mr. Hot Dog Scoop, Malia, Leon Kassab, Mason Miller, Richard Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, please for the love of God, do not get that tattoo. Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley slapping your face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, University Jeff, Mike Helm, Paris, Samantha Cohn, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder, Cougar, Falcon, Scoop, Matt Lisa Tangeman, Heyo, Oscar Swanrose, A Sunny Boy, Slurpee Kaye, motherfucker, Sandra McWovell, Dan Martin, and Hannah Marie.
And if you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
and why wouldn't you?
And enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy, and thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we got for this week's session. We want to thank our landlords, Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast, and thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, Pod Therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share this episode with the world. Tag us on the socials when you do. It's at PodTherapyGuys on Twitter, on Threads, and on Instagram, and it's /PodTherapy on Facebook. Don't forget about all the extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
Did you know that you too can submit a question to the show?
No!
You too can?
Yes.
Bono?
Bono can. The
But
Edge
not the
can.
edge.
Ask
Fuck you,
anonymously
The Edge.
at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jim.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week.
Man, their concert was really good.
So good.
I've heard that.
All right. Last
It's over now.
one.
I know.
Now they've
Missed
done it. Yep.
The play is to Jacob.